Good morning. Today on Business Success in Six with Stacie, I have Stephanie Krubsack here from Purevant Living. Stephanie, thanks for jumping on with me today.
Thanks for having me.
So it's my pleasure. You have a very unique business. And if you don't mind, I'd love for you to ask you some questions so you can describe it to our viewers. Is that okay?
Yeah, of course.
Awesome. Thank you. So when people ask you how you describe Purevant Living, how do you describe it?
Yeah, I would say I'm a services company. So I work with a lot of sustainability and wellness, to be specific. So that can be anything from digital marketing to communications, communicating your sustainability efforts to your stakeholders, or maybe you're rebranding your product. Maybe you want to learn how to get into sustainability and track your carbon emissions, or where you go to offset that. So all of that. And then the second portion of my business would be the publication side. So I have a quarterly magazine called Person and Planet, where I discuss anything within sustainability and wellness. So sharing great resources, organizations, tips, nonprofits, and a paired podcast with that too.
That is really cool and really purposeful work that you're helping other businesses actually become more aware of their sustainability and their carbon footprints. That's really, really neat that you do that. What were your plans when you started your business and how have they changed?
Yeah, so actually, I started my business working with more wellness brands on that side. So I was working in IT, living in Denver, and I was missing that creative aspect. And I had been a food blogger for years. I started building my own website, writing content, things like that. So I started freelancing with CBD and cannabis companies in Colorado. So this was during the big cannabis boom. So it was anything from helping a company with their branding, even doing some packaging design, a lot of writing about, CBD, the health benefits. So I really got started in that space.
That's really, really neat. And you talk about wellness. A lot of people they're not aware of how much CBD can help those. And I know there's still quite a wall up there. So it sounds like you're actually helping to bring down some of the walls and barriers that branding or companies have. Is that correct?
Yes, definitely. So, and I think a big part of that too is, knowing what you legally can and can't say, especially in the CBD world. And I'm a very analytical person too. I'd say half creative, half analytical. I like facts. I like science. So if I would write an article for a company, I look at what the facts say about how CBD, for example, could help you. I do a lot of healthy food recipes, menu creation, things like that too. So I like looking at, what is good for your body, what's healthy. So I like that all to be factual.
That is very, very important. Yeah, because different viewers need different things. They want to learn about the creative side. They also want facts and things to back it up. So that's great. What is the biggest way that you believe you impact the community?
I would say just general awareness or health for person and planet. So hence the name of my publication and podcast. I think that it's intimately connected, right? And we have to focus on our health as individuals and then look at what our environment is too, which in turn affects our health. So it comes hand in hand. And I really want to bring awareness of great, product, services, initiatives that people are supporting this.
That's wonderful that you're doing that. What is one challenge that you have faced that other business owners could learn from?
I would say over the years, probably the biggest piece of advice would be to value your time as much as you value others' time. Because I think sometimes as a new business owner, a freelancer, an entrepreneur, when you get started, you're craving any type of business and you'll entertain anyone and you'll set aside a lot of your time to give free information. And I think it's more than acceptable to say, let's do a 30-minute call, and you're providing some great information for them to walk away with, but not to schedule, an hour or 2 hours or multiple calls with a company that in turn doesn't end up hiring you. So I would say just being conscious of that your time is valuable. So I learned that the hard way many times where I have many, many meetings and then nothing comes of it. Just to be, that you can help and give information, but to be cautious of that, to know that your time is also valuable.
Absolutely. That is excellent advice. A little step further with that too. Have you ever not chosen to work with somebody like based on your experience and your time?
Yes, I have definitely. And I think it can be something that establishes like over time. Let's say you have a client that's always late on payments, by several months, something like that. You can say, after this month, giving proper notice or saying, going forward, we won't be doing this. I think, when it comes to something like that, you have to be firm on your expectations and that you're treated properly too. Or if they're not being responsive and you have follow up on a project, it has to be, a nice partnership for both sides. So yeah, that does happen from time to time. And I think once you set that boundary, it opens up the door for a client that you're better aligned with.
That is so, so true. And I love that you talk about boundaries with that. It just sounds like it's so important to respect your time. And that's what we see a lot of business owners not really realize is your time and your knowledge that you have and that you've accrued over the years is so valuable. So not giving that away also. That's a great reminder for our viewers. What does the future look like to you? And do you have an exit plan?
Yeah, so I think with my business, I really want to continue to expand my offerings within sustainability. So right now I'm primarily B2B, but I'm also considering maybe some B2C options too, because, as consumers, a lot of us are wondering, how do we be more sustainable? Where do I start? It's not just about the plastic bags and the plastic straws. It is, but it isn't. So there's bigger things we can do about, investing sustainably would be one of the biggest things we can do as individuals. So things like that. I've been toying around with how do I offer a B2B or B2C offering or services as well. And then I really want to expand my publication as a resource for companies because it's a great tool, a way to learn or support their existing wellness or sustainability programs in their company because it's like a 75-page publication that covers both respects. And it's a nice read. It's paired with sustainable artwork and photography of nature. So I think it's a nice way for others to consume all of that content in a more fun, enjoyable way.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really excited to actually read it as well. You talk about like a B2C with consumers. I've got to imagine that with your recipe books and wellness, like it as far as like ground beef or something goes, like that's not necessarily great for our environment to like continue to, have like so much meat. Is that correct? Do you kind of tie that all together too, like between health, wellness, and the environment?
Yeah, because the meat industry and production, it takes a lot of resources, a lot of water, emits a lot of methane and carbon. So it's yeah, to keep that in mind that, going, meatless or at least several days a week can be beneficial. Looking at what it takes to create those resources versus plants. So yeah, I think, and everybody's different. Everybody's different. Not everybody can go completely vegan. But I think just being conscious about it, knowing that you don't have to eat red meat every single day is definitely beneficial.
Yeah, I've heard bits and pieces about that, and I'm actually very, very interested in that. And I think there's a whole movement of people going vegan or,
Mm-hmm.
lactose free. And I'm not promoting that or not promoting that either, but that's very interesting that you talk about that. All subjects open. What inspires you most?
I would say right now and most of the time in nature. And I'm not sure if it's because I joke I was raised playing in the dirt. I was always playing outside, building something, digging something. And also realizing that nature is constantly changing. And with climate change, that's a whole another point we could discuss too about how weather is becoming more extreme, right? But just always looking at how the daily sky patterns can change as well too, like the clouds and sunset. No two are the same.
Sure.
The color blending, the cloud shapes, everything will change. And just taking a moment to really notice that and appreciate it, right? I mean, in Wisconsin here we have beautiful sunsets. I will say of all the places in the world I've been, some of the best vibrant sunsets I've found are here, believe it or not. But yeah, just really taking that into consideration and what we can do to help preserve that and do our part to pick up trash if we go on a hike or things like that too, I'd recommend.
That's so inspiring and beautiful. Thank you so much for your time. Now, if somebody wants to get in touch with you to work with you, what would be the best way for them to do that?
Yeah, so you can find me on all the social platforms. Purevant Living is on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, or my email is sk@purevantliving.com as well.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for your time today. Good luck with the new year.
Thank you so much.